Hi, this is the Tiger Wolf 55.
And this is the Ninja Psychic Wonderloo.
And welcome to our finale for our Bat-palooza for 2012. This is the event that we have been building up to for 2 whole months. What I've suffered for.
What suffer?
You know exactly what you did to me.
Anyway, today we will be reviewing, finally, The Dark Knight Rises.
This is the summer movie event of 2012. Is it going to be as good as The Dark Knight? Is it going to be better? Is it even going to live up to the expectations set forth by the Dark Knight trilogy overall? Is there a good reason that Christopher Nolan came back on? Or was it just a cash grab? Is Bane finally going to redeem the reputation that was so skewered after Batman and Robin? Or is he going to continue to be the butt of fanboys' jokes everywhere?
Whoa. These are the questions that you had going into the movie. Really?
I have a list here.
Give me that. You know what my questions were?
What?
How awesome is it going to be? And is Christian Bale still going to look really good? Those are my questions. See? 2 very simple answers. Very simple.
Yeah, that figures. Well, now the time for questions is over. Now it's time for answers. This is The Dark Knight Rises.
I already said that.
Released in 2012. Directed by Christopher Nolan and released by Warner Brothers and DC Comics, the movie stars Christian Bale as Batman Bruce Wayne, Tom Hardy as Bane, Anne Hathaway as Selina Kyle Catwoman, Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox, Michael Caine as Alfred Pennyworth, Marion Cotillard as Miranda Tate, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Officer John Blake, Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, and Ben Mendelsohn as John Daggett. Okay, now for the difficult part, the synopsis.
That's going to be really hard, because this movie is so complex with all of its storylines, everything that it's doing. It's going to be really hard.
Would you like to try?
No.
You sure?
You know what? This movie does not deserve my butchering of a review. While I'm trying to not butcher it, I end up killing it. It doesn't deserve it.
Oh, but the other Batman movies that you butchered and those deserved it?
Okay, well, some of them, yes, they did deserve it. But others, I was really trying not to.
Shut up.
I really was.
That's it.
Shut up, Wolf.
Okay, the movie starts the same way The Dark Knight ended, with a lie. A noble lie that Gordon and Batman had agreed upon in order to save Gotham City, but a lie nonetheless. If you want to know what that lie was, I suggest that you watch The Dark Knight. We recommend doing that anyway.
But yeah, I mean, come on, it's so fabulous. I mean, it has drama,
We've already done our review of that one, Ninja.
Sorry.
No need to go over it again.
Sorry.
Anyway.
It's just so awesome.
Thanks to that lie, Batman was painted as a fugitive, and a monster was hailed as a hero. Fast forward 8 years, and we see that the lie has, well, actually appeared to work, as all of Gotham's organized crime has been eradicated, but it has also taken a toll on the people involved. James Gordon almost visibly bears the weight of the lie that was told. His family has left him, and he is torn between finally telling the truth about Batman's innocence to the people of Gotham, or risking the good that the lie did accomplish being destroyed. Meanwhile, Alfred, who also lied by omission in an effort to spare Bruce pain, has kept silent all these years in the hopes that Bruce could finally move on to a normal life. But instead, he's had to watch as the person he cares for as his own son has sunken further and further into darkness. As for Bruce himself, he bears the brunt of all these lies. Batman, for all intents and purposes, has had to die for Gotham to live. But Bruce Wayne has been unable to move on in his life because of the events of The Dark Knight. And we also discovered that after he had invested half of his company's assets into a joint clean energy project with a friend of his, Miranda Tate, it had fallen through, and Bruce became a recluse. In fact, by the time of this movie, he had not been seen or heard from directly for years. However, all this changes following a robbery at Wayne Manor by one Selina Kyle, who has been hired by John Daggett, a rival businessman who seeks to take over Wayne Enterprises to steal something vitally important from Bruce as part of a plan of his. To that plan, he has also hired the mercenary known as Bane. However, it is Bane himself who takes center stage, as he is the oncoming storm that Gotham is completely unprepared for, having taken over the League of Shadows following the death of Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins. And he is even more dangerous than Ra's was. Bruce becomes aware of all of this, and Batman is urged on by an injured Gordon and new hothead police officer John Blake to return to save the city once more. Bruce feels compelled, but as Alfred is quick to point out, he is not the man he once was. So even if he does decide to take on the cape once more, there's no guarantee that he will be able to save Gotham or even himself from Bane's onslaught. And that's about as far as we can go, and this is barely scratching the surface of what this movie entails.
Yeah, it's more like just like a half hour's worth of a movie right there.
Okay, so now that we have given the synopsis...
It was awesome!
Totally!
It was amazing. We had to go see it twice, because the first time, this whole review would have been, it's awesome, it's awesome, it's awesome, it's awesome, it's awesome, because that's how awesome it is.
It's not a perfect movie, and by all rights, The Dark Knight is probably still the strongest film.
However,
this was really good. This was worth the wait, and I can see why Christopher Nolan decided to come back for this one. This was worthwhile.
Extremely. I mean, it brought everything full circle in the most unique ways I've ever seen.
This is probably more a sequel in spirit to Batman Begins than The Dark Knight, but you can also see all the threads from both movies coming into this one. I love the themes that they established in this one. In Batman Begins, the themes there were fear and vengeance. In The Dark Knight, the presiding theme was anarchy. Here, the themes include honesty and legacy, both of which play an enormous part in this movie and can clearly be seen by the movie's end.
Just besides the themes, the acting was amazing. Like Anne Hathaway's portrayal. Okay, let's face it. When I think of Anne Hathaway, I don't think of, really good athletic criminal. I think Princess Diaries.
Most people did. Most people were not too happy when she was cast as Catwoman. But I think that she has won over audiences. Personally, I think she's the best direct comic to screen interpretation of Catwoman. Sorry to Michelle Pfeiffer, she was probably more memorable, but Anne Hathaway, I think, was a better Catwoman overall.
Yeah, let's see, Tom Hardy. He was an amazing Bane. The voice that he had, it was charm. It was like, I don't know, it was weird, but it worked. It was such a great portrayal of Bane. He made Bane a real character, not just an overpumped steroid thug.
The most amazing thing, I think, is that they used Bane at all. Catwoman, I think people were kind of primed for because of one line in The Dark Knight, but Bane was somebody that nobody thought that Christopher Nolan would use initially. Most internet boards that I read said that they would probably try and use Black Mask or Doctor Strange, lesser-known villains that would definitely have fit within the confines of Christopher Nolan's Batman world, or maybe even a return of Edward Nygma as the Riddler. The fact that he went with Bane took a lot of people off guard, and some people I know were a little nervous about that. But I think that Tom Hardy's Bane was an even bigger threat than the Joker. Again, not quite as strong or memorable as the Joker, but Bane is an excellent villain in his own right, and I think that as the final film for this, the perfect choice.
Yeah, I do have one nitpick about him though.
Yes?
And it's not him, it's more just the editing and everything. His voice, because, he wears the mask and everything, so his voice is going to be distorted, but because of how they used it, every once in a while, he could be a little hard to understand. Like, you didn't understand the words that he said softly. That's my only nitpick, though.
That was a criticism that a number of people have had, much like Batman's voice. Bane's through the mask thing, it took some people a little off, and some people were not able to understand it, particularly when they showed the prologue back in December. But I think that overall they did a good job with it. I was able to understand most of what he was saying, and the quality of the voice and breathing actually made him seem like Darth Vader for Batman.
Yeah, it was very cool. Very cool.
Batman's story itself is amazing. There's one scene where we see just how bad off Bruce Wayne is physically. He goes to the doctor and learns that he has no cartilage left in most of his joints. He has residual concussive damage in his brain. He has scar tissue all throughout his body. He, by all rights, should not be Batman anymore. But he's still willing to take on the sacrifice, no matter what the cost. But even beyond that determination that Batman is just known for automatically, he also goes through a very large period of growth throughout this movie. Personal pain, sacrifice, learning about the truth about various things forces him to move on in certain areas, and he even needs to learn how to go beyond the training that he had taken in the previous movies and become even more than what he had previously been, if he even wants a chance to defeat Bane.
Let's see. Michael Caine's portrayal of Alfred, before Alfred had been, just the "I'm there for you, sir" butler. This time in this movie, without any details, he shows how much he truly does care about Bruce. Not just Mr. Wayne, but Bruce, the kid that he's taking care of his whole life. He truly cares for him.
This is the first time that I felt that Michael Caine completely captured what Alfred was supposed to be. In The Dark Knight and Batman Begins, he was a good Alfred, but I always kind of preferred the Alfred from the original Burton and Schumacher films. Even to the point where Alfred was the only bright spot in Batman and Robin. Mm-hmm. This is the first movie where I think Michael Caine nailed it to that level. It was so emotional when he has one particular scene with Bruce. It tugs at your heartstrings, a lot like several of the scenes in this movie does. It's satisfying all the way around. Gordon's story also comes full circle, and much like Michael Caine's Alfred, it pulls at the heartstrings, particularly at the end.
Oh, yeah.
The finale is something to behold. The new character of Joseph Gordon-Levitt has gotten a lot of attention by a lot of people, simply because of the fact that nobody knows what his point was supposed to be. Some people have wondered whether or not he was supposed to be the stand-in for Jean-Paul Valley. Jean-Paul Valley is a character named Azrael in the comics. In the Nightfall saga, which this movie is largely based off of, after Bane defeats Batman, Jean-Paul Valley has to take on the role of Batman. A lot of people were wondering if Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character was going to be doing the same thing. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm going to say that what they did do with his character was very good. Although there were a couple of points in the movie that I didn't quite feel that things were jiving with him. I don't know what it was, but something was off. It was like things got shoehorned in just a little bit too much, and maybe a little bit of editing could have been utilized.
I personally did not see any problems with his portrayal, or his editing, or his acting, or his shoehorns. I liked it. So, yeah, it was an awesome movie.
I loved how they managed to blend so many stories together. This movie takes inspiration from just about all the best Batman stories. It ties back into Batman Year One. It takes inspiration from The Dark Knight Returns. Nightfall is obviously prevalent here. The stories of Batman Legacy and Bane of the Demon are right there, and the story also borrows from No Man's Land. I even like how they went back to the animated series again and brought in a character that has not been seen since that series, John Daggett. In the cartoon, he was named Roland Daggett. I'm not sure why they decided to change his name, but the fact that they did that, I don't know, that really made me smile.
And if you're like me and don't know anything about the comic books or all these random characters, just know, 2 thumbs up. It was very good.
There was no single huge misstep in this movie. The action was great. The story was superb. The acting was top-notch. I loved everything about it. There were a couple of moments where logic was sacrificed for the sake of awesomeness or epicness, but I think that the choices actually worked well in their favor. Again, overall, maybe The Dark Knight is the stronger movie. However, personally, this is the most satisfying movie.
Let's put it this way. Out of all the 3, out of the Dark Knight trilogy, this is a movie that I would probably watch over and over and over again. Now, true, you can't just watch this movie without having watched the previous 2, otherwise you'll get nothing. It'll be a great action flick if you don't watch the previous 2, but having watched Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises is the movie that I would watch over and over again, because it has everything. The previous 2 had the vengeance and the anarchy, as Wolf said before, but with this movie, you had everything. You laugh because they have some really great quips in there. You're cheering on, with all the action scenes, but then at the end, if you're a crier, as I am, it tugs at every single emotional string that is there, and that's part of bringing it full circle. It's no longer just an action.
Ninja, that's not to say that the first 2 had no emotional
anything
to them.
No, I'm not saying that. Sorry if that's how I came across. I'm just saying that with this one, it's a little bit more obvious with the sadness and yet happiness aspect going on.
Overall, this film is just a masterpiece. I don't think that it could have been any better.
No.
So, obviously, we highly recommend this movie, and we hope that you've enjoyed our Bat-palooza over the course of these 2 months. I know that it's been a bit of a strain for me.
But we're moving on from that. We're looking forward.
Yeah, Ninja, I deserve an apology.
What?
I deserve an apology, come on. For everything that you did to me, for driving me absolutely Wait a second. Ninja, have you been playing at a pun?
What?
All this time, all these reviews where you acted like you didn't know diddly squat about the scripts or the people involved or anything. Please tell me that you are not doing this all for the sake of a pun.
What pun?
Think about it. What's another way of saying that you're driving somebody crazy?
I don't know.
You're driving them batty. Please tell me that you have not been putting me through the ringer for that. And keep in mind that no matter what answer you give, you're going to probably be in a lot of trouble, so a lie would not be best right now.
I did not do this for a pun.
You didn't look in my eyes when you said that. You're a dead woman.
I'm looking into the camera and the microphone. They're in that direction, not next to me.
You look into my eyes and tell me that, Ninja.
I did not. Stop looking at me like that.
Our Cinema Semantics, this is the Tiger Wolf 55.
And this is the Ninja Psychic I'm Not Lying Wonderloo.
Well, that was convincing. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
It might be a while before we get back to you.
Yeah.
And I might be putting out a casting call for our new co-host.
Yeah.